Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ninth episode of Enqurious TV. At Enqurious, we help companies build high performing data teams by upskilling professionals with hands on and role based learning, turning curiosity into career growth and business impact. So, today we have on Enqurious TV Mr. Aditya Kulkarni, Senior Director of Digital Analytics and Data Sciences at Dell Technologies. With over 15 years of experience, he has led global data teams, designed customer measurement frameworks, and driven large scale digital transformation initiatives. So, hi, Mr. Kulkarni, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining in. Would you like to introduce yourself? Although I've given a very brief introduction about you, but we would like to hear it from you.
Sure. My name is Aditya. I lead the analytics and the data science team here at Dell Technologies. I work in the services operations organization,
Okay.
and the team that I have basically manages the end-to-end customer journeys from a digital standpoint, right? Like if you think of if you've got any Dell product, and if it has any issues, and if you go to the support website to seek any self-help, then that's where my team comes in. The end-to-end data fabric that resides around that experience. So think of the customer clicks on the website or the virtual assistant that pops up for helping you out while you're on that journey. We capture all that data, and
Okay.
I've got the team that manages the engineering aspect of it, the reporting and analytics aspect of it. And in the last 3 to 4 years, we've gotten deep into the AI space, and now in the last 12 months to 18 months in the generative AI space, and now into the agentic AI space. So
Great.
that end-to-end data fabric is what my team manages.
Great, great. It sounds so interesting that slowly and eventually how you moved into the recent technology, which is generative and agentic AI. So great to have you here with all the expertise you have. So for this podcast, we'll be having two sections. One is the informative one, wherein we'll be trying to take information from you about what you work, your domain. And in the end, we'll have a very small round of rapid fire.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
shall we begin?
yeah.
All right. So, if to start with, if I wanted to ask you, as a senior director of digital analytics and data sciences at Dell, what does your day typically looks like, and what are the main responsibility you have to manage?
Typical day. It starts early in the morning. I've got a global team. I've got a big presence in India and in Europe as well. So it typically starts 7:30 in the morning. You've got strategic calls in the first half of the day with the global teams, and then the second half is more about like execution, right? So, what are some of the big project or big ticket items that you need to deliver that week, that month, that quarter? All of the planning and execution happens predominantly in the second half, and all the leadership meetings and uh, be it one-on-ones that happen in the first half.
Or
And because it's a global team, and like I said, I've got a big presence in India as well, predominantly in Bangalore. I I've received a couple of opportunities to actually travel to Bangalore in the last 2 years or so, and it's
okay.
been great. So having a team there has been awesome.
Great, great. So you start your day with the planning because what you have to implement, you should first know that, so it's more productive. And how did you
Yeah,
get Bangalore then?
I the last time I came to Bangalore was about a year back, actually, last October. Yeah,
Okay.
and it was great. We had workshops, training sessions, uh, and that's kind of when I got a chance to meet Amit and the Enqurious team as well, and it was great connecting with them, and loved everything that he discussed with me and the Dell team when he came to the Dell office. So it was great having him over as well. Yeah.
Great, great, great. That's nice. All right. So, how do you approach building measurement frameworks that effectively track customer journeys and satisfaction?
Oh, you have to start with the customer, right? So because the when the customers use these digital channels or digital properties, the journeys are not linear. So it's not like you call into a queue and there are certain set of steps that the agents ask you to follow, and you follow those steps and get to the resolution. It's not that linear. It's very random in nature, and you can think of your own experience on any website. Unless and until you know exactly what you're looking for, you're going to browse and try and find additional information, right? So, uh, trying to get or trying to unearth the intent of the customer when the customer has not given you any text-based data is a big challenge, because now you've got to build predictive models to understand what the customer's intent is.
Right.
Along with that, because of the massive scale and size of the company that we have, we've got different types of channels that we provide customers to get self-help. We've got the website, which is huge. We've got the virtual assistant, which is huge. We've also got on-the-box tools and portals that collect telemetry. Those are huge. So, and these, if you think of it from a backend standpoint, these are massive data systems that need to be connected to build a measurement framework that scales across the end-to-end digital ecosystem. So the fundamental challenge we had was to stitch that data together and create that sort of customer engagement interaction view of how the journey is transacted. Once you do that, then it's all about operational measures that you need to build, depending on what you're trying to track. Is it satisfaction? Do you want to track cost out to figure out if self-help is deflecting customer contacts from assisted channels? Are you trying to identify revenue opportunities? So it just depends on what your ultimate outcome is. But the fundamental challenge starts with creating that data engineering ecosystem where the data is connected in a cohesive and, more importantly, consistent manner. Because you always have these challenges when the data pipelines get broke, or when the data goes missing, or something changes in the business, and you have to then come back and use the data to help explain what's happening. So the framework that you establish has to ensure that those challenges are met on a real-time basis. You don't want the business teams uh, to have a long delay in decision making because the data wasn't there, right?
Right.
So the frameworks really have to be robust enough to ensure that the pipelines are, even when they are broken, they can be proactively fixed. And if they stay broken, then the communication needs to be there to ensure the business is kept updated.
Great. So this is all in-house data, like all the people.
Yes.
Okay, okay, great.
Yes, we typically use the teams that we've got, right? So I've got a team of, which is why the benefit that I have is because it's an end-to-end data fabric team. I've got
Hmm.
the engineers on the team, and we work with the uh, data engineering team as well. That
Oh,
ensures that the data is brought in, stays connected.
all
We sit
right.
in the business organization, so we have the business Ps who help us create and design the key performance indicators, and then analysts who can analyze the data and provide
Right.
insights.
Right. And as you just mentioned that the pipeline, whenever it breaks, so the most important thing is that it should be robust enough to be fixed very quickly. So for
Yeah,
that, by monitoring and all. So that's
that's
an
right.
initiative. Good, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is a common misconception about operational analytics that you often encounter and how do you address it?
Ah, the biggest misconception that at least I've seen is that the operational analytics equals creating dashboards and scorecards, right? It's so much deeper than that, and it's so much more complex than that,
Okay.
right? Scorecards are important, and but like I mentioned, the amount of data that needs to be collected and connected to ensure that the scorecard gets that right number. It may just be a number on the scorecard, but the amount of effort that's gone in to get that number on the scorecard is huge. So there's that in the back end there needs to be an acknowledgement. Then the second thing is from a front end, like after the number is put on the scorecard, what does it mean? Is it a good number to, like, it's just if revenue is $10 million as an example, is it a good number or is it a bad number? Quarter over quarter, is it going up or going down? If it's going up, is it a good thing? Can you explain it? If it's going down, is it a good thing? Can you explain it? Right. So those understanding those different levers that you can pull from a business standpoint is extremely important. The other thing I'll also mention is that once you get the scorecards and dashboards in place, how do you generate insights and then convert those insights into recommendations and then into actions? So
Hmm.
that the closed loop of finding an important gap in the business and resolving it through closed loop corrective action is extremely important as well. That's part of operation. That's very much part of operational analytics, right?
True.
Uh, but many a times you see that uh, people view operational analytics as just, oh yeah, create these three scorecards or four dashboards
Yeah.
and just send me the data and I'll figure it out from there.
Correct.
So that's a misconception everywhere. I think uh, it's not necessary that only one team has it.
Hmm.
And then how you resolve it is basically you've got to make the business as part of the solution, right? The business teams, the SMEs in those organizations are the best people to understand how the business is best run. So
Right.
if you have them as part of the solution making, the KPI design process, then it's obviously a big benefit. The other thing is if you have KPIs and scorecards,
Hmm.
and they do not have a goal and an owner associated with it, then
Right.
it's just a number on a scorecard. That doesn't help anyone.
Correct.
So you've got to have a business owner. You've got to have
Hmm.
someone who can act upon that KPI and who understands that KPI from a business standpoint, so that the analytics team can focus on doing what they're good at, which is basically do
Right.
a deep dive and get the right data in place.
Right. So this ownership is very important because otherwise there's no use of doing everything. So it's
Yeah.
important. Right. True. Agreed. Great. Okay. So how do you foster collaboration between business, engineering, analytics, and data science teams to solve complex problems? Because again, as you said, you have a global team and it's massive. So
Yeah.
you have to maintain the coordination between them, right? So how do you do that?
So in my experience, it has basically come down to two challenges, right? Like
Okay.
everyone is trying to do their best in the best possible with the best possible intent.
Hmm.
Uh, because of the structure of the organizations, it comes down to two possible challenges. One is there is just lack of communication in terms of what the R&R is. Like if you want to build a model in the space of data science, and the outcome has to be to predict when the customer is going to contact tech support,
Hmm.
then the data scientist should go and build the model in terms of understanding what those thresholds need to look like. From a
Right.
business standpoint, there needs to be an understanding of how that model needs to be, where that model needs to be positioned, how it needs to be invoked, who gets to see it, so on and so forth. From a engineering standpoint, they need to own metrics like page load time, latency, and so on and so forth to ensure that the model is deployed in the right way. So as long as there is a very clear line of communication from an R&R standpoint, who's doing what and how that chain works from business to deployment and back to the business,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the challenges you've got. Along with that, the second challenge really is about uh, tying all of this to a business outcome, right? Because it's ultimately you're trying to drive some form of an outcome for the business and for the customer.
Right.
So, if as long as there is like a lot of clarity,
Hmm.
uh, and it just comes down to an understanding of whether the teams are sharing goals, there's continuous communication, and uh, I'll also say that there's mutual respect for each team's expertise, right? Like the business teams are the best to understand what that business
Right.
framework needs to look like. The data science teams predominantly could be in the backend, and they may not necessarily have an understanding of why the business is asking for certain things,
Right.
but as long as there is that clarity as to why the business is asking, and they understand that, I think collaboration just it just fosters itself. You don't necessarily need to build a
Really.
separate framework for it.
True, right. And also, one more thing I feel is that it's also about asking right questions. So, like if there's lack of
Totally.
communication, you feel, then you should go ahead and start asking questions because sometimes you feel really ashamed that what will some other person think of me? Because as you just mentioned,
Totally.
the business
Yeah,
person knows very well what's best for business and he knows what
exactly.
he's getting in. But if I don't agree on that point, then I should go ahead and ask you, okay, why this? So that's
Yeah,
also
and then that those questions, the you get the space to ask those questions when there is mutual respect for each other's capabilities,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So that's where I don't see that as a challenge, but just an opportunity where
Ah,
people tend to get together and work on a common goal or a common business problem. And because from a digital standpoint or digital transformation standpoint, right? Because how customer centric we are,
yeah.
it is important to understand the customer lens as well. In many cases, the solution may be the right solution from a business standpoint, but if it's not driving a customer
Hmm.
experience outcome in a
Yeah.
positive manner, then you typically even start questioning that. So that finding that right balance between the business and the customer outcomes is
Yeah.
equally important.
And putting ourselves in the customer's shoes to feel that same.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So this informating section was really informative, and I was really like got overwhelmed with the answers you've given. So now let's begin with the rapid fire round, wherein I'll be asking
Sure.
a question and you have to give the answer immediately
Yeah.
upfront. Okay, shall we begin?
Yep.
Okay. So coffee or tea during your long data crunch sessions?
Oh, T, 100%.
Okay. Biggest data myth you wish would disappear forever?
uh, More data is better decisions.
Okay. You bird or night owl for deep work?
It depends, but if something requires like 100% focus, early bird.
Okay. One word to describe your leadership style.
I'd say more transformational.
Okay, great. Okay, so since you have a lot of expertise with over 15 plus years of experience, so this question, like you can answer it in a better shape. So if you were to give one piece of advice, not as a senior director, but as Aditya, the individual, to someone starting their career in data and analytics, what would it be?
I'd say the new ABC, right? Always be curious, right?
Okay.
if you're going to be curious, you'll have that hunger to learn more.
Hmm.
And we live in a world of generative AI and agentic AI, you can get most of the answers using Chat GPT and Perplexity and all of these
Right.
tools, right? So the ability to find the answers is not going to be the differentiator, but the ability to ask the right questions will be.
Will be
And for you to ask the right questions, you have to be curious and you have to have that hunger to learn more. So
right.
I think, and irrespective if you're in the data or the analytics field, right? You really have to have uh, that ability to just be asking the right questions. And then if you're specifically in the analytics space, I think one differentiator that you will have as compared to other analysts or data scientists is getting the business acumen as soon as possible. You can get into any industry like retail, finance, ed tech, could be
Right.
anything. But if you understand the business, I don't necessarily mean you need to understand the entire business, but at least understand some of the customer pain points or the business pain points. Then I think you'll be able to build better solutions because you'll have empathy towards that business or the customer as well. So yeah, just my 2 cents.
Agreed. And also, like, we are in a pace where machines are advancing so fast. So if we can't match them, we have to be little ahead of them, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, rightly answered.
absolutely.
Okay. Thanks a lot for being at Incurious TV. And it was
Sure.
I definitely know that many people who will be watching it out there will get to learn a lot from it. Thanks for taking.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.